Can you daily a motorcycle? The short answer, yes.
So you want to know if you can commute on a motorcycle. It's really not that bad. It's not as hard as people think. I've been dailying a motorcycle pretty much since I started riding. I started on my R3, I moved up to my R1, and now I'm on my 2019 MT-09. I ride pretty much all year round. For those of you that have been following me for a while, you know I've been riding in the rain and whatnot. I live in Northern California, and really the only weather we get here is the rain. Recently it's been raining a lot, but you know, usually it's pretty dry out here. I went the wrong way. So of course, with the weather we have here being pretty dry most of the year, it makes dailying a motorcycle pretty easy. Now, if you live somewhere with rougher weather, that's gonna be kind of a different story. Now, think about how much cheaper a motorcycle is than a car. For one, they're cheaper to buy. They don't cost as much. Two, they get way better gas mileage. And three, the maintenance costs are way less. And on top of that, it's so much easier to work on a motorcycle than it is to work on a car. There are way less moving parts on a bike, and it's way smaller, which means less things you have to worry about. I've gone through a few different vehicles, multiple bikes, multiple cars, and every bike I've owned has been the most reliable vehicle I've ever owned. More than once, I've been left stranded with just my motorcycle. Currently is one of those times. I do have a truck and a car. Currently, both of those aren't running, but my MT-09 is running strong. Before I got the MT-09, I had my R1, and when I was riding that thing, I ran into the same problem for a while. My truck and my car both weren't running, and all I had was my R1. So I was dailying that thing. It was the middle of winter. This is actually recently. It was the middle of winter, it was pouring rain, and I was riding that thing every single day. Now, obviously, that's not ideal, but it's possible for sure. Now, daily riding a motorcycle will only make you a better rider with proper practice. You know, practice your quick braking, practice your throttle control, your clutch control. Keep in mind lane position, checking your mirrors, taking intersections slowly, things like that. I don't know if you guys know the rider Moto. He makes YouTube videos, Instagram, TikTok, all that. He said it best when he said the idea is to just never be surprised. So keeping all those things in mind while you're riding, it'll eventually just become second nature. Now, another really important point to note is that motorcycles are just fun. Motorcycles are so much more fun than driving a car, which is just facts. There's nothing you could say to argue that. Motorcycles are a lot of fun, and having fun is also a stress reliever. So when I'm riding to work, I'm riding home from work, or I'm riding out to go get some food, or I'm riding to hang out with some buddies, it's a stress reliever. That's just not something people understand if they don't actually ride, is how much fun it is every single day. Like this. You can't just wheelie like that in a car. Now, let's talk about storage space. I'm gonna pull over real quick. I want to show you guys something. We're gonna find a nice little empty spot. We go right here. All right, so this is my 2019 Yamaha MT-09. If I open up the seat here, you can see there's not much space in here. I've got maybe a little bit of space to hold some paperwork and whatnot, but other than that, you can't really fit anything in here. Close that back up. Now, because of that, I always have my backpack on me. So this is my built V3 backpack. I got it from Cycle Gear. I think at the time it was like 50 bucks maybe. I could be wrong. I just want to say this is not sponsored in any way. It's just simply what I use. This is not the best backpack you can buy. It is a riding backpack, but it is what it is. It's got a little helmet holder. I've used that once. It worked fine. Both of these clasps broke pretty soon after I got them. Kind of unfortunate, but it's whatever. Now, I've got enough space for a couple things in here. Not much, but on a daily basis, how many things are you really carrying? Here's my little R1 tag. Now, I've never used one of these myself, but many riders suggest getting saddle bags. They make a variety of different bags, either vehicle specific ones or just universal ones that fit a majority of motorcycles. Now, I've never needed to use that much space, but they're pretty useful. Now, my backpack has enough storage space to carry whatever I need on a daily basis. However, if I do ever need to pick up something that's bigger than my backpack, I'll take my truck. Granted, I do ride, like I said, a majority of the year, but I can't imagine not living without another vehicle. I keep going the wrong way, so we're turning around again. Now, I was once young, dumb, and 17, and I thought I was gonna go out and buy my first motorcycle without another vehicle. Let's just say that ended up going through. My mom wasn't very happy. Thinking back now, I can't imagine not living without another vehicle. So, yes, sir, I ride my bike a majority of the year, but there are quite a few times that guy didn't make that turn. There are quite a few times where I simply need my truck or my car. A nice heated cabin is just something you can't get on a bike. There's a lot of people over there. So if you're thinking about getting a motorcycle as your only vehicle, you're in for a lot. Now, you're also going to have to think about gear. Whether you're in a full leather race suit or you're wearing flip-flops and sandals, you're gonna have a helmet. Of course, that's if your state has helmet laws where you are, which I think most of them do. Now, this video isn't about why you should be wearing gear, because frankly, we all know we're supposed to. Regardless of what I'm wearing, I always have my helmet, my gloves, and my backpack. That doesn't sound like much, but whenever you get to wherever you're going, you're gonna have to be lugging around all that extra weight. For some, that's not a problem. For me, I'm used to it, but it's something to keep in mind if you're trying to get into this world. Now, let's say I just have my helmet, I have my gloves, and my backpack. That's not too bad. I put my gloves in my helmet, I carry my helmet, I have my backpack on my back, and that's it. But now let's think about if you're wearing full gear. You've got leather pants on, you've got a nice armored jacket. Maybe it's cold out. I'm wearing layers. I've got thermals on my pants, thermal shirt, a sweater, a hoodie. Now let's say you're wearing an armored jacket on top of that. That's a lot of stuff just for riding. Now, whenever you get to where you're going, you're gonna be hot. And now you have all this gear and all this stuff you have to carry around. Now, like I said, I've been doing this for a while. I'm used to that. But again, keep that in mind if you're thinking about doing this type of stuff. Whether you're going to work or you're going to school, you'll need a place to put all that. Now, a counterpoint to that is that I have everything that I need in my backpack at all times. So let's say I just got off a long day from work. I get home, park my bike, I take my key out, grab my phone, and I'm out. If you're in a car, you have to grab your stuff. You have to grab your bag, you grab your food, you grab all the stuff you have out from the other seat. Now you gotta carry it out, you gotta get out of the car. You know, it's a bit more work than it is to be on a motorcycle. Now I know I'm not the only one who's gotten home from work and then sat there and looked at my phone for an hour because I was too lazy to get out of the car. It happens to the best of us. On a motorcycle, that's not even an issue that is presented to you because there's nowhere for you to hang out. I get home, park, grab my phone, I'm out. It's really that simple. Another thing to think about is you're gonna have helmet hair. Do you want to have helmet hair when you're going wherever you're going? Maybe not. I always have a hat on me. I have a hat or a beanie. It's always in my backpack or it's in my pocket or something because I have long hair and I always have helmet hair. Ooh, something smells good. I smell donuts. To some people, it's not a problem. For some people, it is. Many riders I know always have a hat on them just for that reason. One of the most important points is that commuting on a motorcycle is just way faster. It's way faster than it'll ever be in a car for a couple really simple reasons. I know it's only allowed in a couple states, but here in California, it's legal to lane split. Now, lane splitting basically means I can split between two lanes going in the same direction. That means pulling up to a red light or sitting in traffic on the freeway. I can split between all those cars. I've been doing it this whole time without even thinking about it, and you've probably already seen it. Because of that, there's no traffic on a motorcycle, which means your commute times are going to be way less. Now we see right here, if you're in a car, you're going to be stuck behind all this traffic. Fortunately for me, I'm on a bike. We're smaller. We can fit through these tight spaces. Lane splitting is a thing that we could do because we can fit. And it's something that's really, really useful. Like right now, a car can't do this simply because they just can't fit. That was 2 cops I just passed. Just going to say that it's very obviously legal and they're not going to do anything about it. Now, speaking of legal, there are things you can physically do on a bike. Not legally, but physically do on a bike because you can fit. There's plenty of times I've ridden up on the sidewalk to get to where I need to go. There's a lot of cops. What is that, 6th, 7th cop I've passed already? Like I was saying, I've also gone sideways between cars. If I'm on this far right lane and I need to get all the way over to the left, I could do that because I can fit. Is that legal? It might be a little bit of a gray area. If there's no cops, there's nothing stopping you. Now, it's little things like that that add up and make your commute way faster. I live in Sac. If I were to commute to San Francisco every day, for most people, it takes a few hours, especially if they're doing it during business times. You know, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's a lot of traffic. For those of you that know, you know. Oh my God, avoid that. If I were to commute on a motorcycle to San Francisco, it'll take me an hour. For people in a car, it'll take them a few hours. Just because there's so much traffic driving to the Bay, that just simply doesn't exist when you're on a motorcycle. Now, if you're riding a lot more miles, you have to think about how fast you're going through your tires, how often you maintain your chain, how often do you do oil changes, how often do you flush your brake fluid or your coolant. You're gonna go through tires way more than an average rider who is only taking their bike out on the weekends. Maybe think about getting a certain type of tires. Think about commuter tires that are harder, that'll last longer for commuting. Bikes may be cheaper, but commuting that often, you start to rack up on the maintenance costs because you're gonna have to be doing those things more often. See, this right here is one of those things. I'm in the bicycle lane. Is this legal? Technically no. However, it's safer than going between all those cars and it's still accomplishing the same goal. If you're in a car, you can't do that. Sorry guys. Look at the puppy! So I know I've kind of been rambling on a bit, but there's a few main points. It's cheaper, it's easier, and it's more fun. However, there's a few things you're gonna have to roll with. Bad weather, there's no AC, there's no heater. You have to think about the people on the road, people in cars trying to kill us all the time. Things like that are non-stop when you're on a bike. But the more you ride, the more it's part of your life. You guys have probably heard the saying, it's not if, but when talking about riding riders being in accidents. Of course, the idea is that if you're on a motorcycle, your chances of getting in an accident go up because you're just riding more often. But like I mentioned before, the more you ride, the better you get, which means that you're a safer rider. You can predict things better. You can control your bike better. So the probability may go up, but the likeliness goes down, if that makes any sense. So at the end of the day, it's up to you. I daily commute on my bike, and I have for years. My take on the subject may be a little different than others, but it really comes down to how willing you are to do this, because it's not always easy. It's not always the best. It's nice getting places faster. Yes, it's fun riding a bike, but I'm cold right now, and that's just something I'm gonna have to live with. You know what I'm saying? If you're thinking about dailying your motorcycle, give it a shot. If you're not a rider yet and you're thinking about getting a motorcycle, just do it. Give it a shot. It's not for everybody, and you'll find out pretty soon once you get a bike. So if you guys weren't sure about that, I hope this helped you out. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.